Here we go, chapter 53. Hey, these things, Afranius and Petrius and the friends Eorum, the friends of them, their friends. So these things, pleniora, more fuller, even, etiam, and uberia, which comes from the milkiness of teats, sort of, so exaggerated is what the Loeb uses, so you can say more fully and with more words in them. They perscribabanted, so they wrote this ad suos to their people, our people at Rome, and it's in the accusative, so it means going to Rome. Malta means much. Ruma is male, and a fingerbat. So something was created. So to the Ruma was created with much, and we know it's probably much exaggerations, etc. So that it seemed that almost paini, the bellum was confectum, completed. So looks like it was almost complete was the war, according to these rumours. Quibus, the relative, goes here in ablative. So Romam is the only non-ablative there, with which being per latus, that's very tule latus. So with letters and announcements being taken to Rome, Magni concursus. There was a great running, and the W text has domum, and Damon's text has forum, which seems to be the better choice. So the great concursus, you even might want to put that in there if you want, into the forum to Afrianus. Ad takes the accusative, and magna gratulations were fiabanting, were happening. So great congratulations to him, to his side. Malta again. So there's a multitude. There was many ex Italia from Italy, profiscabantord. They set out ad Pompeii. So many set out from Italy to Pompeii, ali. So some, as the principals, as the leading men, are tooling or ferrying talem nuntium, such announcements, and we have it as a correlative, ally. So some did this, and others, ne expectasse, not waiting for the eventum belli, the outcome of the war, genitive is that, or ex omnibus novissimi, this is the superlative, they seemed to venisse, to come last. Novissimi is the most recent, so the most recent people are always the last people to turn up. So some seem to be the forerunners bearing these announcements, and others not waiting for the outcome of war. And the third option is they just seem to be turning up last of all. 54. Cum in his angustus res esset. So we're talking about the matter or the circumstances here. They'd come into these narrows, this narrowness of the situation, or the tight straits, and omnes via, all the roads, by Afrianus militibus and equitibus obsiderentur, so they were all blocked or taken possession of by the soldiers and the equidoites, the cavalry, by these people belonging to Afrianus. So, and nec pontes perfici possent, and neither were they possible to complete. So these are bridges here, the ponts. So it was not possible to complete these bridges. Caesar ordered, imperabated, to his datives, to his soldiers, ut faciunt naves, so they should make ships. So matters come to this, all the roads were blocked by soldiers and horsemen, the bridges weren't possible to be completed. Caesar's ordered his soldiers that they make ships now. Of which generis, of which type, eum superibus annus usus Britanniae docuerad. In the superiorus annus, in the preceding years, docuerat's actually not passive, so his use in Britain had taught him how to make these kind of ships. The carina the hulls, or the parts of the ship, and prima means first, the statute minor, this is the ribs of the ship, fiabant, were made ex levi materia, from light material, and material usually means wood or lumber, and here it especially does. So we'll have a daily dictionary word. Third declension neuter, statumen, becomes statute minor. As we know the neuters do, it's not an I stem. That upon which anything rests, a support, a stay, a prop, or rib of a ship. Okay, it comes from statuo, to hold up, fix, upright, plus men, which gets added to words. Okay, the reliquum, corpus, the rest of the body, navium, genitive of the ship, was contextum, woven with venomibus, which are like vines and canes, etc., and integrabator, covered over with chorus, which are pelts and hides. Okay, has perfectus, these things being completed in the accusative, with caris junctus, with joined wagons or carriages, de vihid, these were vehicled or carried, octu, in the night, during the night, milia passum a castris, 22. So that means 20 miles from the camp they were carried, and qui the milites, his soldiers, his navibus, in these ships, transported flumen. They carried over the river in these ships in his navibus. And we have another qui, and continentem, this looks like it's accusative participle, improviso, unforeseen, they occupied or took a column, which is a hill, which was tineo, means touching upon the riverbank. So there's a hill close to the riverbank. So his men finished off these things with vines, these boats, carried them at 22 miles on these carriages, which are joined together, and they were transported over the river in these little ships, and they occupied now on a hill. Hunk, pronoun for the hill. Celetra means quickly, it's an adverb, so this hill quickly, prius quam, prior to being sentiated by his adversaries, being sensed or detected by his adversaries, he communicated hunk. So he fortified munitions and fortifications, that's the Latin word for it. Huck. So here, this area, a legionem, which is a legion. It's like multitude, it's a group of men, but only takes a singular in the verb. So he crossed this a legion here, postea afterwards, atqui and utra, female version of both, in parte means part or side. So from both sides he instituted a pontem, a bridge. So he started building a bridge from both sides. I guess they met in the middle, and biduo, as we know, it was 2 days. It was perfected, it was completed. Ita, thus or so, the comitus, these are the provisions, et qui, and those who cause us, the post-positive or post-position, for the sake of fermenting, going out and scouring the area for provisions and grain or whatever. So the provisions and those who, for the sake of collecting grain, had processorated, they proceeded, received ad se tuto. So these are all received into this fortified area, I'm guessing, and that tuto means safe. And the rem frumentaria, the matter of grain and provisions, he began to expedire, come to be unencumbered, and they could feed their people. 55. Iodem die. In the same day, magnum partem, a great part of the equitum, of the cavalry, trajected the flumen. They crossed the Neuter, the river. Those who, in opportuntes, pabulatores, this goes together, and sine ullo timor, dispersos aggressi. So, aggressor means they went forwards, they attacked those who attacked the pabulators, those foraging unexpectedly, and they were like spread out because they were dissipated. without any fear. A magnum numerum, a great number of the beasts of burdens, the Mentorum, and of man they intercepted, intercipionted. Cohortibus catratus missus subsidio. So missus means ascent. Catratus are the shields that these people wear. So they were it was a cohort of natives. They sent for subsidio, for auxiliaries, or those who were sciento, which means they had knowledge, where we get science from, distributed themselves, say, into two parts, in partes duas. This looks like we've got correlatives again. Some as a presidio sint for the booty, some as a protection or defence for the booty, and the others so that they would resist the venentibus. This is a present participle ablative plural. It's used substantively to resist all the people who are coming, and they would propel these, or they would drive them off or dispel them, or whatever type of pello you want to put into English. And unum cohortem, and one cohort which temere rashly procurrented, ran, and pro means in front, anti also means in front, ran before the others outside of the battle line, extra acium, seclusum from the reliquus, so they were secluded or separated from the rest. They were circumveniented, they were surrounded and interficunted, they were killed. So then, safely, the people doing the killing with magna prada, with great booty, Eodem Ponte, using the same bridge, they reverunted into Castra. They returned into camp. That was chapter 55. Chapter 56. Dum haec ad illerdum geranta. So all these things were going on. This is really at Ilerda. It literally looks like towards it, but we'll just say at Ilerda. Messalense, usi concilio, using the plan of Lucius Domitius, expedient, made ready, naves longas. These long ships are warships, numero 17, XVII. Quarum, of which, the female relative, there were 11 tecta. These are with decks, which means a covering is over. Malta, hac minora navigia adunt. So, much was added, adunted, much minora navigata. So many small ships were added to hac to this, so that the multitude ipsa, the multitude itself, would be terrifying to nostra classes, to our fleet. A magnum numerum sagittorums arrows, so these are the archers. There was a great number of these archers, and a magnum albicorum, and a great number of the albicorums, de quibus super demonstratum est, which demonstrated above concerning these people. These were imponented on the minora navigata. So, placed on these small boats was a great number of archers and a great number of these albicorans. And hos premius pollicitationibus qui incitent. And they were, these hoses, these people were incited with rewards and promises of rewards. Okay. Curtas, accusative plural, sibi deposcat naves Domitius. So we can start from here. Domitius, he deposcated, he demanded, it even as the dean, he demanded sibi for himself, certas naves, certain ships, and has these collinus and pastoribuses. Colonists are usually where they settle people who have gone from the army, so people live in the countryside. So with rural people and shepherds, quos secum adduxerit, which he had led secum with himself. Here's the verb completed. So he demanded ships for himself, and he completed them. He filled them up with his people from the countryside and shepherds, which he brought with him. Sick. Thus, omnibus rebus instructor classe, with his feet drawn up with omnibus rebus, all these things, including people, with a magna fiducia, so he had great confidence and trust, they proceeded ad nostras naves, to our ships. Quibus, with which D. Brutius was praerat, he was in charge, which takes the dative or something like that. That looks pretty simple. Hey, so hey means these people, ad insula to the island, quaes contra Massilium, which is contra or opposite Massilia. This was obtained or held, stations, that's the same in English. So these things were held, these stations were held at the island which is facing Massilia, and that's it for the day.